Oconee Nuclear Station, 50-mile emergency planning zone, 3 states, 27 counties, 1,435,128 people. Duke Energy's Oconee Nuclear Complex is almost 50 years old, as is the upstream Jockheezy Dam. The risk of Jockheezy Dam failure and flooding of Oconee Stream, Oconee safety equipment is unacceptably high. Should the dam fail, the floodwaters will overtake the reactor complex and reactor meltdowns and radiation releases to the public are likely. This unacceptable risk is known to both regulators and Duke Energy. To the United States Office of the President, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest, Washington D.C. 20500, USA. Immediate attention. Date of March 12th, 2022. Being sent on a couple days later. I live in Habersham County, Georgia. I am the neighboring county to Lake Lanier and Hall County. I've been researching Lake Russell WMA in Mt Airy for 9.5 months. I grew up here, and studying my town park allowed me to see the crisis my community is facing, which will soon become very devastating. The dams the Army built are going to break. They are going to break soon. I am enacting my voice on behalf of my community, who are all left unaware by specific design and demand of enactment by our federal government and disaster avoidance. We do not want to drown.
The Boy Scouts came through and rebuilt these in about 1998 to 2001. The huge construction projects out here with the Chenasta Tower and rebuilding the roads was actually an effort to combat these areas flooding. The original path has actually almost been cut up under, and new earth has been pushed under the water, but from the lake side. So the swamp that's being created from the overflow to the lake has now run up on the trail to where in 2001, the Boy Scouts had to rebuild this bridge. Well, this bridge is already collapsing in 2022. The earth behind it is starting to fill with water in ways we can't. And so this is what they're doing with our roads and bridges as well. Here's the first bridge. It's covered with dirt and water already. It's lost, it's sunk. The second one is starting to have the same thing happen. This little outlet will continue to grow until the whole area
swampland.
You can see that the trees at the bottom are already getting hit by this overflow. And these are the really sturdy ones, the ones that have been here the longest. And I can see it well up into the top. What we're standing in front of is actually a rock quarry. When the CCC came in 1937 and built these parks, what they didn't realize was that the quarry lakes that had filled with water are actually creating sinkholes underneath. If you look behind me, this was probably the line of the lake at one point. But over time, the past 100 years, the lake has actually come to a point where it has drowned the park behind us. The algae has had to be scrubbed out of this shelter because at one point, this trail was completely submerged. At one point, this was underwater. A lot of the bricks have been pulled out by the force of the water and worn down. We can see that the steel on top of the fireplaces has rusted and had contact with water. We can also see the breaking of the edge pieces, and we can see algae on the original stone that had to be scrubbed or pressured.
Actually, yeah. Let me turn that flashlight back on. Because, like, it gets a better shot. So, like,
that had to be scrubbed or pressured with water to remove them. And we can also see this in the top corners, okay? In the very top corners, where there should have been no algae or water leak except from the back end. Taken out our blocking pads and our bridge. Them cutting the dam did not help the water pressure coming in from up underneath it. The water will push up under it and send the whole thing cascading down. Oh, here's, for example, yeah, we got some flooding. It's the parking lot. Yeah, if you look at the parking lot, we've had to get everyone to evacuate their cars. Apparently this is normal. So, I already had fire, police come, offer evacuations to these guys. As you see, the riverbend has built all of our cabins and hotels on stilts. But that still does not stop the drive from flooding in weather like this. Here's next to the river, you'll see the bench. Yeah. He's just hanging on. He's trying to make it. Him too. And as you can see, it's just come all the way across. The bank ends about up here. The bank is actually right there to the river, but it's just come hotel side. Everyone's okay. Everyone's car is okay. But you can see that dirty flood water coming up into the hotel. And you can see it adding, just running down. This is Helen, Georgia right now. Get another angle on things. Swing, swing, swing. Swing. And the funniest part is, I think we had someone complain that they didn't get a river view today. Well, now you get the river view of your lifetime. That just looks toxic. It looks so gross. That is not the kind of water you want to fall into. You can see the clean water adding into the water what the water already looks like. There's the clean water adding in to the backwash of the lake or the river. There's literally a line. Helen, Georgia. Tornado warnings until 2 a.m., folks. We've already had we had one customer emergency evac, but the fire department confirmed that the flood is not going to reach the foundation of the hotel since it's built on stilts. But I'm definitely still keeping an eye on that because it keeps continuing to rain, and that is a danger, being so close to the river for our guests. So I do like to keep an eye on things. You can see where the fresh water is just melting into the nasty flood water. Usually the bank is like way up here to the river. That is at least 4 feet deep. There's no way it's not. This is like behind the hotel. The river's all the way up there. So it's just kind of flowed. This is where they would usually park. So when the Army Corps of Engineers realized what was going on and that the swamps were forming and that sinkholes were forming in these old quarry lakes, they had aggregate companies, marble companies, they start filling in the ground where they can. They cut the dam out. It hasn't broken necessarily, but they have taken machines and allowed the water to continue moving down to the other lake, Lake Russell, which drains off into the, I think, Hartwell Lake or the Savannah Reservoir. And so what happens is this water continues moving downstream, and then whatever's below Lake Russell, in this case maybe Stevens County, is experiencing high rates of flooding, sinkholes. This was installed in 2016. Since then, I can see that the trail's almost been overtaken here, and the water levels have risen to a point of killing all of the dry land.
That same Agent Orange they use. We
Who
sprayed over
used?
there on Lee Mountain.
Who used?
They used in the Vietnam War.
The Army?
Yeah, they bombed people with Agent
Oh,
Orange.
so they used the Army napalm stuff, the agent whatever.
It was D42 or D24, one or the other.
And so what did you do with it?
We would put it in a gun, like metal gun,
With like a tube?
and had a sharp chisel point on the end of it, and we go around trees that we didn't want and kill them with that stuff. It would mash this trigger, and it would spray that stuff into the bark, into the tree.
What
and
does
kill
that
the
do to
tree.
the tree over time though?
It killed the tree. That's
But
what
like
they wanted. But they come in there later
with
and
stump
take
grinders.
either some kind of tractor or bulldozer or something, pile that stuff up and clean it, and then come back in there and paint pine trees.
What kind of bulldozers? How much would they move?
Well, they just had a clearing off blade. They didn't move dirt. They just cleared the brush it was falling over and piled it up and burned it.
Yeah.
I went back in there deer hunting, and when they had it cut off, I was going to cut firewood. And they had a deer hunt going on, and they had the gate locked that I had been going into. And I drove all the way around the checking station, come up through there, and drove back through.
Come up the back way.
2 or 3 miles, got up in there, and they had another gate closed. I couldn't get up to my firewood.
They were hunting deer?
And that was the day I got hurt. I had to come out and went up to Low Gap. I had a permit to get down in dead timber. And that's the day I got my leg hurt.
Because you can't move that stuff unless, say, you have a permit. That was so if that's when you hurt your leg, that means that was like 1999?
98.
1998.
January 3rd, 1998.
That's when they had you remember the road closed. we go. Mother told me that there's something written on the back of this. Is this like real life national treasure? Because he went through hell. Like I'm not Nick Cage. Here's Lake Russell. Okay. There's no break in it. I have to get a camera. I'm gonna have to buy a new camera. Why is there no landfill in this 1986 map? And there's a landfill now in the WMA. How can you put trash on a wildlife protection area? National Forest land. So today's the first day I visited Chinosota Mountain Tower. It says that this whole place was erected in 1990. That's the year Fern Springs was closed down and the gate was put on there, the metal gate. Trying to locate any of the destroyed parts or evidence. First thing I'm seeing is that this used to be paved all the way up. I made it to the end of the line. This is where the WMA starts. This road is Lake Russell Road, named after Senator Richard B. Russell in Mt Airy. It is inaccessible with 2 gates put on front of it. And the reason is because it leads to the Chinosota Fire Tower, then back into Cornelia, right down to where like the WMA and the park is. You know, I'd have to say that this is pretty extreme. Like, they did all of this. This says posted, as in like private property, but it's dead property. And the National Forest said to us that they cleaned and managed these areas every 3 months. That was what was said to myself by the Forest Service. I'm not going to be able to go down there this whole way today. It leads down to Running Deer in the tower, and I'm 2 miles. Which on a good day, I mean, I did 10 at Lake Russell to take the, they also cut through the Sourwood Trail. It doesn't end at the waterfall and cut back in a U. What kind of sense does that make? Think about it. It actually continues across the creek, and you hike for another 5 or 6 miles, and basically end up almost in the Fern Springs Park in the back area. This one connects the private road and what they turned into private housing, and what they say is private back here and have 2 gates on, is still part of the wildlife protected area. There's like a giant ravine right here, right? But on the other side of it, right there, I see a definitely man-made built wall and what used to be water drainage right here on some like giant metal steel pipes, and a creek that would have led down through, and some more metal pipes down here. So this is the pathway that's left, which somebody made possible, who knows. And this is the entrance to the road that I just came out of. And here's where they've put a whole fence right here. See? A gate. An iron wrought welded metal gate right here. That one's open because someone broke it open. And so since someone broke it open, they just decided to put this 3rd blockade right here. And now there's trees too. So they've been really helped out, you know what I'm saying? Like, did no one think that we would find this? This connects straight down to the Chinosota Tower and to the city of Cornelia. So the road has been cleaned up, right? I'm literally just like, there's the tree over the thing. The road has been cleaned and repaved right here on the way out. Chinosita Tower was constructed in 1937 as part of the North Georgia Upland Game Conservation Project. This project was a part of the Resettlement Administration. This was a government program that ended up reintroducing slavery to our country in the South for that duration of time until they had to shut it down after Franklin Delano Roosevelt realized what was happening. A lot of families in this area were affected. I'll keep reading. This project was initiated in 1935, proposed the acquisition of 50,000 acres in Habersham, Stephen, and Franklin counties for public use. The concept of the project was for the government to purchase worn-out farmland on a voluntary basis from 250 families. The Chinosita Fire Tower in Mt Airy is the only fire tower in Georgia made out of whatever kind of rock this is. It's the only one like it. They restored it in 1985. They formed a new CCC, the Chinosita Conservation Corps. They are actually renovating it again this year. Oh, cool. Open window, but I can't fit through the bars. What is that? Looks like they have a pulley here. It looks like kind of like a fire extinguisher hanging there. What? It's just stops right here. I guess they like repaved it. I looked on my map and this is the point where the lake, Chinosita Tower, and the road that was blocked off that I showed you intersect. And when you look at it on the map, there's a giant circle hole in where the roads connect. I don't know how many of them are new, but this is the entrance to the neighborhood. This was not put here in 1990.
Hello?
Hi, I know you don't know me. I'm actually here just like researching the Chinosita Tower. I was wondering if you could, I'm from Clarksville. If you could tell me what year this property was built? Your house, like...
There's a building at the back of this building, the third
Right.
tower. But the house itself was built in 92.
92. Thank you so much, because it has a lot to do with the Chinosita, the building of the Chinosita and stuff, so have a good one.
Hey, I can open the gate, let you go take a look up there if you want to.
Oh, dude, that would be awesome. I could show you some of the stuff that I found about the rest of the area if you want.
I know nobody's there. I'm in Dallas, Texas. But I can let you in. You can take a look around if you want to.
I would very much appreciate that. Thank you.
Alright.
My name was Jeremy, again.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right, bye.
Thank you. So, I'm in an unnamed neighbor's backyard at the lookout tower. He said, I can feel the same energy. Dude. Why is this on private property? This was built in 1937. And let's continue down here. In the Chattooga, I can't even talk. I'm so upset. Look, there's secondary benches on top of the picnic tables. This one is perfectly preserved, and a ceiling fan's been added. I've never seen one in such good condition. Even the plastering on the top of the fireplaces is good. No holes. It's been amazingly preserved, except it's missing one of its benches, which I thought was for fire kindling. And now I see that was not it. This one's been repainted, I guess brown. Coming out of all of that, I now end up coming out of Wiley Street to the Cornelius City Park. Does this barricade look familiar? Well, I want you to know I'm not in the same place. I'm behind Piedmont College. And these giant, are definitely built. Does this path keep going? I see concrete in here, like right in here. Why does this always have to be so sketch? Let me show you. This is a concrete block that goes it's in chunks right here. You can hear it. Another chunk. How does that make sense? My yearbook from 1936, and they had images of Lake Demarest. So like Lake Demarest isn't really in existence anymore.
No, they flooded it.
They flooded it. Who flooded it? The college?
Finally bought all the land around it, so they controlled it. Here's the road. Massachusetts used to go over a bridge,
Right.
which they.
I
that
just
was
stood
the
on
dam.
that. Okay, I just stood on that kind of.
That was the dam.
Like Russell Dam?
No. Lake Demarest. It was the dam
Right.
that made the lake.
Right.
It was fed by Kelm Creek and another creek. So the state, whoever engineers, deemed the dam dangerous.
What
So-
year was that, would you say?
Probably 20. I'm going to guess around 2010, maybe 28.
So they just
28.
deemed it dangerous. You know, Toccoa's levee broke in the 80s and killed all those
Killed a
people.
bunch of people.
Yeah, it's. So that's what I'm researching.
So what happened was they had two choices. They could spend about $1 million and fix the dam, $1 million to dredge the lake. So they said, let the dam go. We're not going to dredge the lake. We're going to let
So they said that it would be too expensive to fix.
Yeah. But that wasn't even the college property over there either. That was private property all over there. So all this was private. It didn't have anything to do with the college
Until they bought it all and then flooded it.
and I'm begging them to buy mine, but they won't do it.
So they refuse to buy yours,
Well, they don't.
or they just don't want it. They don't have see any value in it, I guess.
Well, yeah, they do. They want me to die and give it to them. 25 acres, which is where the Swanson Center
The
sits.
Swanson Center.
And we gave them about 25 acres.
And-
Back in 2000, maybe 3.
That was a lot of information given to me. The area she was talking about was right behind me, where the Demarest Lake, apparently the one that pulled up on my computer, used to be. And apparently they didn't have enough money to fix it, but then they put a $12 million Swanson Center on top of something that was not really supposed to be their property, I don't think. They own, she said, 3 of the houses at the top of this little development, which is obviously used to be the main part. And it's been purposely cut off there. There's my clue, the land didn't belong to you. Number 2, this didn't belong to you. It says this is a protected wetland. We're at Piedmont College. I have already been offered to go to school here, so I am exploring their campus. So this walking path I'm on leads directly to the Swanson Center, but the building of this is just pretty much like all the parks I've ever seen. Apparently the Swanson Center used to just be a wooded area. Then the Swanson family paid Piedmont $12 million, and then the lake was flooded, and then I don't know. That's what we're here to find out. I do see, now that I've reached the Swanson Center, that there is another path to my left. I'm always going to take the older path if I can, and it's accessible. I am seeing this as a marsh. This is just like at the Lake Russell WMA. This trail I'm on is actually leading away from the Swanson Center right now. Built by the same agriculture department. This is behind the Swanson Center. Obviously this electronics and stuff up here, but the rock work speaks for itself. And I went behind the agriculture. Oh, look at this. And the bridge at Piedmont was built in 2008. This leads back up to the top road by the Hillside Memorial Gardens. I haven't seen any trails or evidence of anything, but that would have been hidden a long time ago. I went down below the Piedmont Bridge, built in 2008. I find the broken concrete here, and down there I find where a bridge should be, just like at Lake Russell, and those giant planks would have held it. And then I hear church bells. I found it. See this? There's a trail here, 2 trails here, and I'm gonna follow them. My phone's gonna die before I get to the result, but I can come back out here another day. I'm gonna notate everything that I find. The trail's kind of, and it's actually back there. See markers. See the path. Just a little further. This is no joke. Found more equipment, I guess. This is really old. I wish my camera worked better. Has a
I'm not sure if this is an omen, an old grave, or a pile of rocks the Blair Witch left, but it's probably no coincidence that these rocks sit at the base of the second cave. I'm normally pretty fearless, but this cave makes me uncomfortable for some reason.